AMD is back in focus, and today's session added even more heat to what's already become one of the most closely watched stocks in the AI space. After a strong rally during Monday's regular trading hours, AMD kept the momentum going in after-hours trading, heading into Tuesday's highly anticipated earnings report. So what exactly is going on with AMD stock, and what should we be watching as earnings approach? Let's start with today's price action. AMD closed the session up over 5%, finishing at around $176.78, marking one of its strongest single-day performances in recent weeks. Volume was high, sentiment was bullish, and the stock even approached an intraday high of $179.47. For context, that puts AMD within striking distance of its 52-week highs and continues a trend of significant upside we've seen throughout 2025. The stock is now up over 45% year-to-date, and traders seem increasingly convinced that AMD is not just riding the AI wave, it's helping drive it. But what makes today's rally especially interesting is that it wasn't just driven by hype or speculation. There's some meat behind the move. Over the weekend and into today, news outlets and analysts began circulating reports of AMD's deepening relationships with major cloud providers. While nothing has been officially confirmed, multiple sources have floated the idea that AMD may be nearing a contract or expanded deployment with Amazon Web Services. If true, this would be a major win. AWS is a dominant force in the cloud computing space, and if they're ready to deploy AMD's new Instinct GPUs at scale, it would significantly strengthen AMD's competitive position against Nvidia. This speculation has been further supported by AMD's recent product roadmap updates. CEO Lisa Su and her team have been promoting the upcoming MI350 series, which is already generating buzz for offering performance that rivals or even exceeds some of Nvidia's existing AI GPUs, but at a lower total cost. More recently, AMD also teased its MI400 series and the Helios rack platform, which is being designed specifically for AI hyperscalers. These developments indicate that AMD is not content with simply being the number 2 in AI, it's aggressively working to close the gap and maybe even disrupt the status quo. Piper Sandler analysts pointed to this momentum in a research note today, highlighting AMD's AI infrastructure build-out and the rumored AWS contract as key reasons for raising their price target. Other firms, including Melius and HSBC, have already upgraded AMD's stock in recent weeks, setting targets as high as $200 to $210. That bullish sentiment is clearly feeding into market behavior, and today's rally shows just how much investor confidence has grown heading into the earnings call. But, as always, there are two sides to the coin. And while the upside potential is real, there are a few things to be mindful of heading into Tuesday. First and foremost, AMD is expected to take a sizable one-time charge related to US export restrictions on AI chip sales to China. This charge is estimated to come in at around $800 million, which is projected to knock EPS down to about 47 or 48 cents for the quarter. That's a noticeable drop from last year's levels and may weigh on short-term earnings optics. Still, many investors and analysts seem willing to look past that. Why? Because AMD's underlying business remains strong. Last quarter, revenue was up 36% year-over-year. Data center revenue surged 57%, client revenue grew 68%, and free cash flow nearly doubled. That kind of performance creates a buffer, and it makes this one-time charge easier to stomach, especially if guidance remains strong and management indicates that they expect to recover some of that lost revenue in the second half of the year. There's also growing speculation that AMD could soon resume certain chip shipments to China if it receives the proper export licenses. CEO Lisa Su hasn't ruled it out, and any forward-looking commentary on this issue during Tuesday's earnings call could have a meaningful impact on where the stock goes next. If the company hints at progress on the regulatory front, it could unlock even more upside in the months ahead. The options market is pricing in a big move. Implied volatility suggests that traders are expecting a swing of around 7% in either direction post-earnings. That means AMD could jump toward $190 if the report is strong and guidance is upbeat. On the flip side, if there's a miss or the company offers cautious guidance, the stock could pull back toward the $160 range. But here's the key point. A lot of investors aren't just looking at Tuesday's numbers. They're looking at what AMD is building long-term. With MI300 MI350 ramping, MI400 already being teased, and strategic partnerships possibly forming with major cloud players, the longer-term narrative remains compelling. There's also a valuation argument to be made. Compared to Nvidia, AMD still trades at a significant discount in terms of price to earnings and forward multiple. If it can deliver even a fraction of the AI-related revenue growth that Nvidia has posted, AMD stock has room to re-rate higher. Of course, none of this is guaranteed. AMD still needs to prove that it can scale its AI business at the pace the market is expecting. And while its GPUs are getting great reviews, Nvidia has deep-rooted relationships and a robust software ecosystem that will be difficult to unseat. Execution is everything from here. That's why Tuesday's call is so important. It's not just about hitting the revenue and EPS targets, it's about convincing investors that AMD has the roadmap, the partners, and the operational firepower to become a true leader in the AI chip space. So what should we be watching for? First, pay close attention to data center revenue. This segment will be the clearest signal of how AMD's AI chips are performing in the market. If growth here continues to accelerate, that's a great sign. Second, listen closely to any commentary on strategic partnerships. If AMD announces or even hints at deals with major cloud providers, especially AWS, that could act as a catalyst for a breakout move. Third, watch for guidance. What AMD says about Q3 and Q4 could be more important than what it reports for Q2. If management projects a strong second half of the year, the market will likely reward the stock. And finally, don't ignore the geopolitical backdrop. Any updates on export licenses or commentary around China sales will be market moving. To wrap it up, AMD has put itself in an excellent position heading into this earnings report. The stock has momentum, the company has catalysts, and sentiment is clearly leaning bullish. Today's price action reflects growing conviction from both retail and institutional investors. But with the stock already up significantly this year, expectations are high. Now it's up to AMD to deliver the next chapter in its AI story. We'll be watching closely tomorrow. Whether it's a blowout beat or a cautious quarter, you can count on us to break it all down for you. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the earnings breakdown when it drops. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.